Okay, everyone, how's it going? It's me here again, and this time I'm talking about the final expansion for The Witcher 3 called Blood and Wine. Now, Blood and Wine takes place after the main game. Geralt has to travel to Toussaint because the Duchess has him brought there to help take care of a monster. And I will say, I really enjoyed this. The story was great. It involved Geralt having to go kill a monster, which turns out to be a vampire, and along the way he ends up meeting Regis, who's also a vampire, but it's actually one of Geralt's, I guess you could say, best friends. They actually care for each other, which is a little surprising since Geralt kills almost every monster he sees, but this goes to prove that Geralt actually is human, has a heart, He understands the difference between monsters that he has to kill and monsters that are good that he doesn't have to kill, and that's what I liked. And just the chemistry between Regis and Geralt, it's just so incredible. I mean, it's just, two guys who've just seen a ton, but they still care for each other and they'll still help each other. I thought that was incredible. I actually liked a lot of the characters that were in this. I mean, there's the Duchess. I actually liked her. I liked her development. She's actually a political figure that actually everyone loves. And I was like, I actually like this. I mean, this goes even more proof to why Toussaint's the land of love and wine and, has never seen war before until the very end when vampires come and attack Toussaint, which is probably one of my favorite things, because during that you go to, this little fairy tale world, which has, Red Riding Hood, the Three Bears, and all that, and you're just going around this other little world inside this world, and I thought that was actually incredible. I actually enjoy that, because one thing I've always liked about the Witcher series is that at times it doesn't take itself too seriously, and at other times it does, so you just, go through these parts that are really sad, and then just, bam, out of nowhere, it lightens up for a couple of minutes, for a little bit while of gameplay, and that's what it did here when you went into this little fairy tale world, and I thought it was hilarious, especially when you're fighting, the Wicked Witch of the West, basically. I thought that was hilarious, and that's why I actually enjoyed this game, or this expansion, hell, the whole thing really, because it all just flows together really well. And then of course there's the Duchess' sister, which I also liked. Now, there's some new characters that I introduced, as I said. There was Regis, who's in the books, but he has never been shown until now. There's other characters like Triss that shows up depending on the ending that you get for it. Yes, this expansion has different endings depending on the love interest in the main game and kind of what happens at the end of this expansion. So it kind of continued that little tradition, which I found kind of nice, because that's something that it improved on from the main game. Because the main game, it just kind of, I don't know, it felt empty. It's like all the main characters just disappear, except Geralt, because you play Geralt, but Triss, Yennefer, Ciri, all of them, they just disappeared, and it's like, where'd they go? It's kind of boring. I mean, they don't have to do anything, I just kind of wish they were there, because it's oh, well, I wanted to see them again, maybe they had some extra dialogue to say or something. But the main game didn't do that, whereas this expansion did that, and of course, it's the final expansion for The Witcher 3, and final anything Witcher, basically, game-wise, we'll never see again, at least for, I don't know, 10 years, maybe. And so, I think the kind of we gotta kind of send this out, in which they do that very well in the story. At the very end, one thing that's great about Witcher is that I enjoy, the dialogue between characters at times when, it's just, Geralt and Ciri, or Geralt and Regis, or Geralt and Triss, Geralt and Yennefer, and at this time, at the end, it was Geralt and Regis. And it's just incredible because Regis mentions how they've pretty much done a lot and that they kind of need their rest. And Geralt kind of says, he agrees much, and then kind of looks at Karen, kind of does a little smile, just kind of saying, hey, this is basically the end. I thought that was done so well, and I actually read it, I was like, oh, this kind of sad. It's the last time I'm ever going to get to play The Witcher again. How sad. And it really did. It really kind of hit home, I guess you could say. And that's why I thought really helped this story kind of wrap it up really nice and well. Especially because, as I said, this was just so beautiful. New characters, a completely new land, 30 hours of gameplay. This is one of those expansions that I found worth $20. Now, the gameplay itself is, if you didn't like the gameplay from the other Witcher, from Witcher 3, it's exactly the same. You're not going to like this. Exact same thing. Brew potions and stuff, kill monsters, take bounties. The fighting is exactly the same. You're going to be playing basically the same game, just with a new story, new characters, new area. Now, one thing I didn't like about this game, and this expansion was, it was, of course, just released when I played it, and there were some bugs in it. I mean, the combat's still basically the same, but I don't mind the combat so much. But the bugs really, I think, hurt this a lot for me. And not enough to make me hate it, it's just kind of I wish it wasn't as bad. It's basically what the Elder Scrolls series is kind of plagued with whenever it's released. It's kind of big, open world, but it's got some bugs that seriously can hurt it. This happens, I mean, sometimes I'll just be running and just roaches on a path that looks exactly empty, and it's what's got me stuck? Is there an invisible rock that I can't see here? I mean, what's going on? And then, of course, there's just some times where I don't know what happens, but Geralt doesn't block. I mean, he has a block ability. I know you're supposed to dodge more, but he doesn't do, like, the animation of block. He doesn't hold up his sword to block anything. He just stands there and doesn't block. So basically, I'm not, like, in fighting stance. I'm just running around in a circle as if I'm not fighting, trying to fight something. And it kind of is a pain because you can't really dodge if you're not in that attack mode. So that was one thing that kind of bugged me. I had to, like, restart by, like, 3 or at least the last checkpoint. If I, like, load a save just previously, it would fix it. But I had to do that probably, like, 4 or 5 times throughout the whole thing, and it was just so annoying. So that was one thing that kind of annoyed me in this, and kind of wish it never happened, because it never happened to me in The Witcher 3 originally, but it did in this. And there's just something that was going on. I don't know what it was, but I would be playing just out of nowhere. It's kind of like if I was I have dual monitors, so like when you click out a screen, sometimes the game just paused. And the game just paused for no reason. It's like, why did you pause? What is going on? So this was plagued by some bugs, but it didn't hurt enough to make me hate this game. It's just something I wish that was fixed before it was actually put out. And of course, it's probably fixed now because of updates. But those were some things that kind of annoyed me about this. But overall, I really enjoyed it. The music was phenomenal, as always. The Witcher has always had good music, I think, and in this one, I think it was even better. So, overall, I really enjoyed this. It's well worth it. If you enjoyed The Witcher 3 and Hearts of Stone, you're going to enjoy Blood and Wine. If you didn't like Witcher 3 at all, you're basically playing the same thing, and you're most likely not going to like this. But that's it for now, and I will see you guys next time.